Ding ding ding, top of morning. Welcome back to the Stonely Parable. Let's go collect the final figure, the Stanlerine.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
We need Stanlerine.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Stanlerine.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Stanlerine.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
And
Someone
down we
you've
go.
forgotten. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Nope, I'm getting the Stanlerine.
And there it is. The
Yay.
last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley.
Yay.
This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it.
Fuck
Where
yeah.
so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward.
Yep.
I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Yay! We completed all the Stanlerines. Fuck yeah! Oh,
Thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Burp.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here. No, wait. Where are you going?
Off the roof.
Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
No.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley. No! Oh, no. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
Because I've collected all the figurines and have no reason to be here anymore.
Stanley, let's go back to the other... My God.
No.
Is this really how much you disliked my game?
Yeah.
That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You were literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy.
Yeah.
Am I reading the situation correctly?
Absolutely.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask.
No, it wasn't.
It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
Yep. We go off building. Yay.
Is it over?
Yay.
It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Fuck yeah. We're dead. Now to get the bucket.
Stanley, I'm
What?
sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines. Those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness?
Fuck.
Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Okay. Of course I can't open the fucking door. Yeah, we're back. Now remembering when Stanley found the collectibles. Fuck yeah. The Stanley Powerball. Oh, baby basket. Fuck yeah. Oh, can we escape? No. No. But I really wanted to. Nice. There we go.
Ah, here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we
Yep.
had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain?
Yep.
We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
Collect it. We have 7. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
And here was a second Stanlerine. You found this one all on your own, just by poking around in the warehouse. You did that, Stanley. I'll be
Yep.
honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6.
Yeah.
But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
Yeah. We have 8. Oh, we can't throw ourselves off. Damn it.
Okay, let's do a little quiz.
Uh-huh.
Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember?
Can I remember? Of course I can remember. It's called YouTube videos. It's called my other videos in the playlist. Let's just browse them. Merp. Merp, 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 merp. Okay. Okay. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Uh-huh. My third one was under the stairs. Fuck yeah.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here, under the stairs. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then
Yep.
after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so
Yay.
crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
It is possible. We have 9. Fuck yeah.
Let's see, what came next? Oh
Huh?
yes, we found a figgly in this pink room.
No, we
well,
didn't.
I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
No, we didn't. 10. The one in the boss's office.
This was the 5th mini-stand, and this one was really something special. It was behind the boss's office. I remember it so clearly.
Yep.
In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Okay. How you found it. By the narrator. Fuck yeah. What's that over there? It's mini stand 5. Awesome. You found it behind the boss's office. Thanks for watching. Credits directed by the narrator, edited by the narrator, music by the narrator, starring Stanley, see the narrator.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I
Yep.
spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
Agreed. Mine. 11. Oh. What is this? Didn't know it could go behind there somewhat. Over here. Fuck yeah, the final one.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This
Yeah.
memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who
Yeah.
can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a figgly and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all
Yay.
collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Yep. Mine. We collected them all. Fuck yeah. Blue door. What the fuck's that? Huh? You are in the present. What?
And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory zone.
Bye. That was fucking awesome. Me and a TV.
No,
What?
I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there
What the
somewhere we
hell?
can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Alright. Fuck yeah. Blast to the past. Merp.
Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's
Yeah.
keep going, I want more.
13. Fuck yeah. What? Cave tripping?
And here's where I made that
Yeah.
video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
Yep. Let's watch it again. Fuck yeah. Merp.
Yes, I love that video.
Sam. 14.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
Yeah, because we collected the third one in the bathroom. Mine. What's that ominous whispering in here? I wanna get the apple. Oh, I can't get up. But I'd love to, because that whispering is ominous. Huh. Aha!
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know,
Yeah.
if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Well, this is basically a reward, because they get more figurines for collecting all the figurines. Mine, 16. The bathroom.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember?
Yep.
Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep
Yep.
going.
Mine, 17.
This is it,
18.
the very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Figurines. Yay. Collect them all. We're back in here. Collectibles? Can I collect Big Stanley? Can I softlock myself? No. Fuck you, developers. I wanted to softlock myself and see if Narrator had anything to say about it.
Look,
jump
it's the terrible new
circle.
content that we were originally sold on. I
Yeah.
remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In
Yeah.
fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how
Yeah.
much fun the past is. I want more. More memories.
Sam, let's get more memories.
Oh, yes, the two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
Yeah. The door on the right.
And before everything else, there was your office.
Yeah.
Is there
Agreed.
anything else? Was there something that came before your office?
Yeah.
There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
What?
Yes, I'm remembering something now. I
Yeah.
remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to
What?
make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each
Yeah.
decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would
Huh?
make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I
Huh?
invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it.
What?
Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful
What?
companion, even if he was a fiction. But I
What?
suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be
Fuck
stronger
yeah.
this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go
Yeah.
back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling
Yeah.
the story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Yeah. That was awesome. The narrator created me. I'm not even real. Whoop-de-doo.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Bucket.
As Stanley lifted his bucket, he felt a connection to all buckets everywhere. This adventure, he decided, was for all of them.
Yep.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Yeah. More endings.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Yep.
Coming to a
Upstairs.
staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I'ma fucking grab my thing. Basically cheating for the password. Do 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 do. Fuck yeah. $19.47. Fuck yeah.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
Yay.
Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the pin number for the keypad was 2845.
Whoa. And 1, 9, 8, 7.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could
9,
never possibly
4,
know that the combination was
7.
2845. $2845.
Yay. Fuck yeah. 2845.
But Stanley
Fuck
guessed the
yeah.
correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
Fuck
Yes,
yeah.
this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Do 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 do. Do. Here we go. Let's go up and down the left. Fuck yeah.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket.
Yep.
Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Up we go.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
Yep, we love the number 3. The number 3 is awesome. Give us more of it. Yay.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and over.
Yep.
Wow, he said. The number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life.
Yep.
Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This
Yep.
was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him?
I love the
Once
number
Stanley
3.
had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
Back in the elevator. Elevator.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
Uh-huh. Back up. Yay.
No, 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 said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through
Bucket.
so much together, and I just want you to see what I see. Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing.
Bucket, 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 bucket. Number 3 is mine. We love 3, don't we?
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears. And the whole time, he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator.
Ah. Oh.
Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be?
Yeah. Loading. The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the loading.
Said Stanley. I know what to do. I know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why
There's
he
a person
felt so
down there.
alive when pressing it. Then the bucket would be able to see his joy through the eyes of others. It would get to see the world react to this discovery of Stanley's. And it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's work. For months, he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it, developing and rehearsing it, until it couldn't be refined a single measure further. When the big day arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything in his life. This was it. One last chance to win the bucket over. One opportunity to share a true connection with a loved one.
The storyteller. Stanley reveals all in his new book. Fuck yeah.
There was no one here. Nobody had come to the press conference to hear Stanley speak, to listen to him talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad over and over. He was unloved, uninteresting, he was a failure. And in that moment, Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding. The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years, the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke less and less, neither wishing to state the obvious, that any sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference. There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
So very sad. We're a girl failure. I wanna get the bucket back.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed him. What new mysteries lay in store for our bucket-loving heroes today? Let's find out.
Nothing. More
Stanley
ending.
clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Fuck yeah.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Bathroom. Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money crisp. Fuck yeah. Merp. Yay.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light
Merp.
pierce the dark clouds of
Aww.
confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The
Yeah.
bucket would, and he knew it.
Yeah.
The two of them were inseparable. At
Yeah.
this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along?
Yep.
Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
My guide. Fuck yeah. Merp. Down the elevator we go. Fuck yeah. Loading, loading, loading.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Yeah.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Merp.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst
Merp.
into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Yep. Merp.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do?
Yep.
What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place?
Yep.
These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter.
Yep.
His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Yep.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
Yep.
As the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
Yep.
For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good.
Yeah.
Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Yeah. On.
But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls.
What?
Stanley gasped in horror.
Huh?
Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself?
Huh?
How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen.
What?
Birds. Silly
Birds.
birds. The control buttons
Aw.
became active again.
Birds? Aww.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world.
Aww.
The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible
Aww.
discovery. Stanley and the bucket never
The
found
bird
freedom
ending.
because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Yep. Yay, we got the birds ending. Fuck yeah.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Now this, Stanley thought to himself, this is a bucket. And indeed it was.
We need to get to
Stanley clutched
the
the
next
bucket
ending.
tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
No. We go this way.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Yay, boss's office. I totally don't already know the password.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
Yep.
Yes. This is certainly the most logical explanation.
Yep. Next one. Escape ending. Fuck yeah. The bucket and I must escape. Fuck yeah.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Fuck yeah. Burp.
Lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Merp.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Merp.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's
Employee 427. Where's employee 427? 427. There's my office. Fuck yeah. Mine's right there. Nice. Soup.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Yep. Yay.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good.
Yeah.
Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Turn it off. What?
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes!
Fuck
They
yeah.
had done it! Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end.
Yep.
True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support.
What?
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped?
Huh?
Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
We can't escape with the bucket. Oh no. Bucket. Grab bucket.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
Grab this.
Yes, the bucket. Yes. I love that bucket.
Yay.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Yay.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
2845.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotion, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Yep. The other escape option. Fuck yeah. Merp. Yay.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Yeah, death. Violent death, that's my name.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
No.
At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Yep. Down we go. The end is never the end is never the end is never the loading. Fuck yeah. Wee. Fuck yeah.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Bye.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death.
Yay, we're down. Fuck yeah. The Stanley
It was a
Parable.
shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way,
Yeah.
but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Yeah. The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You are standing at the precipice of knowledge, much like the bucket itself. The human mind is frequently empty within, a carnivorous void. But through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched, unsubstantiated knowledge of the bucket and its history. It's the only true knowledge we ever have. Will you take what you learn here out with you into the real world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were in ignorance and darkness? Cool.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Yeah. 25 buckets. A photograph of 25 buckets. The greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. The photographer experienced catatonic shock for several reasons as a result of the euphoria from exposure to this many buckets at once. That's not 25 buckets at all. That's hundreds of buckets. That's not 25. Not 25 at all. Absolutely, definitely not 25. A bucket with 2 handles. This bucket is depicted as having 2 handles. Such a design has never been created in real life, having deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. Inferno bucket, a replica of the Inferno bucket, which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died. Yet, in spite of it all, the simple fact remains: no one can control a bucket. The stress bucket presented without commentary. The stress, the level of water in the bucket. Worrying, negative forecasting, negative thinking, a lack of reassurance. Vulnerability equals the strength, the size and strength of the bucket. Coping strategies, whole equals holes. Rest and relaxation, doing something you enjoy. Rest and relaxation. Fuck yeah. Unga bunga, me love bucket, unga bunga. Cave drawing. While we know that buckets predate the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of a bucket, by which time the bucket had already been around for several millennia. Notice in these markings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures. Fuck yeah. Gamborata, Gamborata. Gamborata is the bucket god. Fuck yeah.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
Yep. The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance, inevitably, is for our own good. Merp. My bucket, fuck yeah.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
Yeah.
Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Fuck yeah, we're dead. Is the game gonna reset? Yeah. Fuck yeah. We got crushed by Bucket. And the Bucket became a king in favor of Gamborata. Fuck yeah.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from there...
One man, one bucket. One chance to seize their destiny together.
Anyway, I've run out of time for this video, so I shall see you all in the next one. Bye bye.